Hi, I'm Mark Baumgarten, showrunner of Mark Who 42's Whoniverse. Hours after we recorded this episode, we found out that Kate O'Mara had died. Kate played the Ronnie from the classic series of Doctor Who. She was a great villain, and in real life, she was a great person. So this episode is dedicated to the memory of Kate.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/markwho42. That's www.audibletrial.com/markwho42. There are over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. So why not head on over there and try it out?
Hello, this is Travis-Richey. I play Inspector Spacetime, and you're listening to Mark Who 42's Whoniverse podcast about interesting things that we talk about.
Mark Who 42 Whoniverse.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mark Who 42's Whoniverse, Doctor Who Whoniverse, that is. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me as ever are...
trish-helm.
And Eduardo-m-Freyre.
And Christian-basel.
Yeah, we're all here. This is going to be a good show because we have a special guest on in the second and third segments of our show, and I will not try butchering her name. I'll let someone else say her name.
Who's going to try it?
She told me if we don't get it right, she's not coming back.
Oh, did she say that? Oh, we're in trouble. What's her name?
Carrie?
Carrie, yeah.
No, what's her last name?
Carrie, a.k.a. Piper Tate from Inspector Spacetime.
Doesn't work. Give her your full name.
Shall I try it?
Yes.
I guess I'll be the one to throw us on the knife if something happens. Carrie-keranen.
That's it. Carrie-keranen. That's how you say it.
Easy.
You said it right. You did it right. You did it right. And that's it. That's all we're saying. That's going to be our special guest in the second and third segments of our show. But you know what? We have to do something first. We have to go to...
But first, we have to go to the Doctor Who news from this award-winning Doctor Who podcast with the award-winning Doctor Who correspondent, Patricia Helm.
Well,
Did I mention award-winning?
Yes, you mentioned award-winning. And yes, thank you to Geekcast Radio Network and to all our fans out there in the Whoniverse Army for voting us Best Partner Podcast. But yes, let's go to the news.
Is there any money involved?
No, unfortunately. Trish?
Okay, it's been a few weeks since we got together, and let's see. On March 11th, Alex Kingston and John Barrowman, they both had their birthdays. Alex turned 51, and John turned 47.
Ooh. Are you supposed to give their age? I mean...
Well, I don't think they care.
It's on, it's on the internet. It's on the internet.
Yes, it's there for everybody to see.
Okay.
But I think the real question is, when do they get their spin-off?
Yeah, I want to see that spin-off.
I think that would be awesome. And Freema Agyeman, who played Martha, she turned 35 on March 20th.
Oh.
So we've had a couple birthdays.
Happy birthday. Oh, we can't sing that song. That's right. We have to pay money.
We also had the birthday. Well, we also had the birthday. What would have been the birthday of the second Doctor?
Oh, Patrick Troughton.
Yeah. Which by the way, I had posted a happy birthday message on our Facebook page, and holy moly! Last I checked, the total reach was 1,313. That was
wow.
Wow! A lot of people like that. A lot of people like that. Like the clown. A lot of people like the clown Doctor.
The hobo.
Wow. So hey, play a little ditty on your recorder in honor of the second Doctor. We miss you, man. God rest.
And then opposite birthdays, we actually did have a veteran Doctor Who director die. He passed away. That was Derek Martinez.
That was very sad because I like his work. I liked his work. Spearhead from Space was a great story, bringing in the third Doctor, and he did a great job on that. And I've got that on Blu-ray.
And hey, Ice Warriors.
Ice Warriors?
Evil of the Daleks.
Ice Warriors. Yeah, Ice Warriors is, some people have a problem with Ice Warriors because it's kind of slow moving and but he was a great director, and the world will miss him.
The last adventure that he supposedly did was Spearhead from Space, and hey, if your last Doctor Who has to be the first time it was in color and the introduction of Third Doctor, hey, I can't think of a better way to go out.
Yeah.
And the introduction of a monster that got rebooted when
the
the Ninth Doctor came
There you
back.
go, the
The
Autons,
Autons.
yeah. Otherwise known as the reason why anyone watching Doctor Who will go into panic attacks at a department store.
There you go.
Hey, you guys remember a few weeks ago we were talking about the Lego possibility of having Lego Doctor Who sets?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Ouch.
waiting.
Well, they have it's entered into the review phase.
Ooh.
And this phase takes place between May and September.
Uh-huh.
And if everything goes well, if everybody likes it, then it goes into the development phase.
Right.
Which that's the one that will take a while because that's when they actually develop the different sets, the different action figure, the different boxes, all that stuff.
Right.
And then after that, and after they perfect it, then it would be put into production and then released to the public. So it's still going to take a while, but it got through the initial phase. So it's going to the second phase.
Good.
Which that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Second page.
So the Peter Capaldi Lego is just two sets of eyes that connect to nothing.
We were at MegaCon last weekend, Christian and I, and Christian, you had the best cosplay outfit that anyone. I mean, we had a great There was a great War Doctor by this comedian who we may have on our show was wearing. That was really cool. But you, Christian, had the cosplay costume. Tell everyone what you were.
I wore Peter Capaldi's eyes.
He had Peter Capaldi's eyeglass. He had eyeglasses with a cutout of the
Peter
the eyes
Capaldi's
that are
eyes.
staring at you in the 50th anniversary episode.
Oh, geez.
And
Nice.
it was hysterically funny.
I
And
was waiting in line for tickets, and the Whovians that saw it were laughing their tails off. They were just laughing hysterically. The other people who were not Whovians, who you could tell instantly, were like, "Why is this guy staring at me with those things?" Perv.
he was cute. Yeah, Christian did a great
Stalker.
job.
Actually, with I even have one picture of it. I think I'll put it on on our Facebook site. There were two Peter Capaldis that we found, and I took a picture with both of them with Capaldi's eyes on.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
yeah. It was a great idea.
Well, here's the story that is really for our UK fans. Because unfortunately, we're not getting this here.
Or UC fans? I'm just making that up. I don't know.
The ones that you blew off by saying "Jolly good day."
Yeah. Gosh. They have a channel over there called the Horror Channel.
Yes, they do.
And they have announced that starting on Friday, April 18th, Good Friday, they're going to be airing 30 episodes of the classic Doctor Who.
Oh,
Right.
They're going to start with an unearthly child, and the whole first weekend is going to be just a marathon featuring one story from each of the Doctors. And then starting after that on weekdays, in the daytime and the evening, they're going to be starting to show the stories in chronological order.
But only 30 stories. Only 30 stories.
Yes.
You're not the whole thing.
Yes, but it's going to be like the Mind Robber, the Demons, Genesis the Daleks,
Cool.
Talons of Wayne. It's mainly the ones that have to do with monsters, because
it
it
is
is
the
the
horror
horror channel. Exactly.
and the ones that were found, not the ones that were still missing.
I wonder if they'll have the horror of Fang Rock.
That would probably be there.
Yeah, it was very horror based, and hey, it's the horror of Fang Rock, and not to mention spoiler alert, every guest character dies.
And it was certainly not horrible. Okay, see what I did there?
God, yes.
I saw what you did. Everybody saw what you did. You should be ashamed of it.
Should we have just hit the spoiler alert before Ed mentioned that statement?
No.
Now they won't watch that episode. Now what is it, down to 29 now? Shows are
Well, no, but that episode makes the Doctor dances more poetic.
Yeah, exactly, because he does.
Because everybody lives. Now that should have had a spoiler.
Well, here's a little news story that'll make Mark so happy.
Uh-huh.
So happy. Matthew Waterhouse is going to be returning as Adric in Big Finish audios.
Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, I'll live. I'll live another day. Hey, they have Mel back all the time. Poor Ed. So yeah, if Adric comes back, that's fine.
The universe needs balance, Mark.
Yeah, it does. That's why there's the Black Guardian and the White Guardian, and you know. Balance.
Now,
Mark is Adric's Black Guardian. Kill the Adric.
Yeah.
I got a question. Wasn't there a Big Finish episode where Adric came back as a bad guy?
Yeah, there was. He had lived through the explosion crashing onto Earth, and when that destroyed the dinosaurs. He lived through that, and he was a bad guy because he was mad, because he was a spoiled brat. And they even it was not my words. He was acting a spoiled brat because he thought the doctor, didn't care about him and left him there to die. When come on, man, that's not what happened.
What do you mean? I would be a little pissed if you left me on a planet to blow up.
I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of like Adam in the comic book Prisoners of Time. He's kind of a douchebag like Adam was. And yes, that is our PG-13 level. That's as far as we're going.
For our younger audience, it's douche bag.
There you go.
It's poo-poo face.
Back to the news. Let's raise the level on this up back to maybe an adult level.
Oh, thank you.
Get away from the
on
child.
This program? Are you kidding?
As in mature, Christian.
That's what I'm talking about.
So,
Oh my!
Go sit over there, please.
So, Day of the Doctor.
Uh-huh.
The 50th anniversary episode.
I remember
it's been nominated for a 2014 BAFTA Craft Award.
Wow. For
special visual and graphic effects.
Cool.
And now Doctor Who has been nominated in this category for the last 7 years, but has never won. So, maybe this time. And also An Adventure in Space and Time is nominated for 3 categories, for costume design, makeup, and hair design, and editing.
Editing.
So,
I should win an award for editing.
We already won an award.
Oh, that's right, we did. We won one. Well,
how many awards you won?
I want more than one.
Now you're.
We're gonna win again next year.
This is what did in Cuba Gooding Jr. Okay, he won an Oscar. It went to his head, and then he did a couple of bad movies, and
and he
made
the
money.
Yeah, and then he made Boat Trip.
I had forgotten about that.
So did Cuba. We wanted to forget about it.
We don't want to go. We did.
Okay, now it's time to put the spoiler alert on.
All right, I'm hitting it. This costs about $5 a second, so I'll put it on for about 4 seconds. Hitting it. Okay.
Wow, that thing's loud.
It's very loud.
Never realized.
So we have some casting news as far as the next series goes. An actress named Keely Hawes, who is from a TV show called Line of Duties, and she is going to be playing a character named Ms. Delphox.
You know what? She's also from Ashes to Ashes, and she is a great actress. I love this woman as an actress.
Yeah, Ms.
That was kind of almost disturbing. What I just said. That was just creepy.
Wow.
It was supposed to be.
Wow.
Glad you said
I was
that.
showing you how it
Mark,
sounds, Christian. I was showing Christian how it sounds when he does it.
Mark, congratulations. You now sound like the bad guy on a special episode of Law and Order.
Hey, I just watched
Way to go.
I just watched The Guild season 3 and saw Wesley Crusher as Will Wheaton as a douchebag, and so I'm saying it again. Sorry,
as a poo head.
As a poo head, and so I was doing my inner Will Wheaton.
Of course you were. As I said, Mark, you
like
now,
doing Will
officially
Wheaton, don't you?
What?
Nothing. Sorry.
Stop. Stop right there. I don't like Wesley Crusher. Stop.
Of course you don't. You don't like Wesley Crusher. You love Wesley Crusher.
Weasley, crush me. Get over here. All right.
No, he wants to put him on the cyber ship with Adric.
Yeah. Yes, because Adric was. I mean, what Will Wheaton Wesley Crusher was Adric on Star Trek. To me, that they were the same character. You hit it on the mark.
Well, enough about Wesley. What else about Miss Delphox, Trish?
Oh, we get to go back to me? Okay.
No, we don't. We're done. No, go ahead.
Okay, fine.
Okay, what
I'm outta here.
did you say? What did you say? What did you say to my girlfriend, Mark? What did you say?
Trish, go ahead.
That's what I thought.
So, Miss Delphox, she is described as a powerful, out-of-this-world character with a dark secret. So the 12th Doctor and Clara are going to come face-to-face with her when they arrive on a strange and puzzling planet, is what they're saying.
Isn't it an 80s world?
And this is what Moffat says about her. He says that Miss Delphox, that she achieves the greatest villainy yet attempted on Doctor Who. She plays a banker.
Ow.
But it says she will only be in one episode. So I hope that doesn't mean that she gets knocked off at the end if they're only saying she's going to be on for one episode. But
that's sad.
Yes. Now, Mark Gatiss, we all love him. And he was recently asked at a convention about whether or not the Master was going to be coming back to face off with the 12th Doctor. And he just said anything is possible. But in his opinion, he feels that we shouldn't get stuck on the old standby villains. He said we need new villains and monsters. He said that when he was a kid, Tom Baker took over as a doctor, and they introduced a lot of new monsters.
Right.
And he said it would be nice if they went back to doing that with Doctor Who. He said we need new stuff.
Now, is there anything else about Mark Gatiss that you want to share?
Yes, he has confirmed that he will be writing 2 episodes for the 12th Doctor.
Woohoo!
But he then clarified on Twitter, I have been commissioned to write 2 episodes of Doctor Who. That doesn't mean they'll both necessarily be in this season. And he also hinted that the episode may involve Jane Austen.
Ooh.
And maybe an alien posing as Mr. Darcy. So I would love that episode. I love Jane Austen, so I think it'd be fun.
Wasn't there a rumor going around that they were talking to him about planning a new Ice Warrior episode?
Maybe the alien who impersonates Mr. Darcy is an Ice Warrior.
There you go. We've written it for him. See, we've given you an idea, Mr. Gatiss.
There you go. And how do you know it's an Ice Warrior? He walks up and goes, Miss Austen, I am a fan of your work. Can you sign this copy of Pride and Prejudice?
He sounds like Christian Bale from Batman? Really?
Give me a break. Oh, give me a break, Mr. Jewish Capaldi.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, they've been releasing images since we last talked of filming going on for the next episodes. And most of these images were taken separately. So all these characters weren't together. But they had like a new monster that looked like a minotaur. Did you guys see that?
No, I did not see that.
He looks like a minotaur of some sort.
So it could be a Nyman. Could be a Nyman.
Or maybe he's related to that French Minotaur from Doctor Who the Forgotten.
And they had a picture of Danny Pink, and he was in the Doctor's orange spacesuit. But he also had like an afro going on, and it was like gray, and they made him look older. And he was like saying he was like going to shake the Doctor's hand outside the TARDIS. So I don't know what's going on there either.
You know what? It's talking about Danny Pink. I love. I forgot which one of you said it. The fact that wouldn't it be cool if Danny Pink was the Master? Who came up with that? Was that Ed or Christian? Which one of it was?
No, I think that may have been Trish.
It was Trish?
I think that may have been Trish who said that one of the rumors was he may be the Master.
Yeah, I think that was just one of the rumors.
I like that rumor. I'm not. I think that would be cool. Him in disguise as so he could undermine the Doctor in a few episodes. That would be cool. I like that idea.
Master with an afro?
Well,
Maspro?
Yeah, Don Street.
Does he have a pick in his hair and all that? Is he in the orange suit?
Questlove from Night Show with Jimmy Fallon.
There was a picture of Jonathan Bailey as a cyborg, and there was pictures of him with the Doctor and Claire was wearing like a suit, and they were like with other guys that were dressed in suits. They were calling it the suits.
The suits.
The suits. And there was another picture of the Doctor and he was using his sonic screwdriver, and
Right.
he still has 11's sonic screwdriver. They haven't changed it. They said, it's only the 3rd episode, so he still might get a new one, but
Right.
he might not. And at the same time, they were showing footage of him, using the sonic screwdriver, and he goes like through this gate, and there's like this creepy robot that he's facing. And I saw like a still picture of it, and whoever designed the robot tried to make him look like he was pissed off all the time. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm really interested to find out. And that is all the news I have for you guys today.
Cool. For you, the listeners of Mark Who 42's Whoniverse podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. And one of the audiobooks they have is called Wheel of Ice. It's a Doctor Who story that came out written by Stephen Baxter. I'm sure a lot of you know who he is. And it's a past Doctor story with Patrick Troughton's Doctor, the second Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe. And what's cool about it is it's narrated by David Troughton, Patrick's son. And so, you have David sounds like his dad. So it's great. He's been on Doctor Who before, in the Peladon stories and Midnight, and now he's narrating Wheel of Ice. It is a great story, and you can choose that as your free audiobook. If you want to download your free audiobook, again, it doesn't have to be that one. It can be any of them. Today, go to audibletrial.com/markwho42. Again, that's audibletrial.com/markwho42 for your free audiobook.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah?
Speaking of stories, I do have a little announcement for the listeners.
Uh-huh.
I am actually at work on a little Doctor Who short story.
Cool.
That should be posted on our Facebook page in the next couple of months.
Oh.
I'm not going to give any details right now, but keep your eyes open because I will be putting up the first of a couple of teasers about it.
Right.
That should give you an idea on which Doctor I will be writing a story on. And it may even give a little hint as to why it's going up in a month or two. So, just something for everybody to keep their eyes open on.
Cool. I can't wait to see that. Read that. I think it'll be great. We're going to go to a commercial break right now. And when we come back, we've got Carrie, who plays Piper Tate on, how do you even begin to say that phrase? The Untitled web series. It's all part of the the-inspector-chronicles, and she'll be on just after these messages. We'll be right back.
You mean an untitled web series about a space traveler who can also travel through time?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Just checking.
Hi, I'm Daphne Ashbrook, and you are listening to Mark Who 42.
Hello, geeks. Want a podcast that covers a vast array of topics with no rhyme or reason? Then check out Altered Geek Unlimited, where the topics fly more or less off the cuff. We cover media news, TV, our favorite geek products, and of course, your feedback. So get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Pixels in the Animation is the Geekcast Radio Network's video game cartoon review show. We are covering every episode of 9 different video game cartoons. Join TV's Mr. Neil and myself, TFG and Mike, as we trek through multiple Mario tunes, Zelda, Captain N, Mega Man, Sonic, and we are also driving through Donkey Kong Country. Pixels in the Animation is 100 episodes of video game cartoon goodness, so tune in to help us find the Pixels in the Animation, which you can find every Wednesday on iTunes and www.geekcastradio.com.
And we're back with more of Mark Who 42's Whoniverse, Doctor Who Whoniverse, that is. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and of course with me are trish-helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel, and we are now joined by carrie-keranen, or can I call her Piper Tate, from an Untitled web series.
Yes, you can call me Carrie-Keranen from Piper Tate.
I'm going to call you, let's pick a name. What, give me a name.
Carrie Tate.
Carrie Tate?
Piper Carrie?
Piper Carrie? Give me a name.
Piper Rannanen?
Piper for short. So Piper.
Or how about Lynn?
What about Sandy?
Your mom.
Sandy works. As long as you're not stranded at the drive-in. Branded a fool.
Don't you hate it when they get the girl's name wrong? Seriously.
He was the one stranded at the drive-in. Sandy was the one who left and went home.
I know.
So
I believe me, I've been there. I was in Greece. Okay. School production, long time ago. Okay. I was here.
Hasn't everyone been in a production of Grease at some point?
I think so. I think that's...
No, I was all... For me, it was all Shakespeare.
Well, booyah for you, Ed.
Yeah. I wasn't in a
production.
I wasn't in a production, but they did a production in my high school.
Right.
I think it's a requirement every 4 years. They got to stick grease in somehow.
Yeah, they have to.
Yes.
They have to.
Is it a
regional
I think
thing?
Rosie O'Donnell made that role.
Is it a regional thing, by the way? Because I don't know. For me, it seems like every high school I go to, the choice they either do Shakespeare or they do Annie. I've never seen them do Grease.
I did Grease down
maybe
here.
Maybe it's the South Florida thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a Miami thing.
We did Little Abner.
Oh, I would love to be in Little Lab.
Hey, we did Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, we did Little Shop of Horrors.
We did Little Shop of Horrors too. My brother played the dentist in a school production of that. That was cool.
And we had what's her name? Sarah Bareilles, that singer. She went to my high school and she was Audrey.
Aww.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and I was like, wow, she's really good. I think she could make it someday.
And you were right. So knowing her music, I'd be like, she played Audrey? That's interesting.
Yeah. Yep. No, she was really good.
Okay.
Fantastic.
All
right. I feel like we've already started on a tangent.
We have started on a tangent, so I'm going to bring it back around. Now, Carrie, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Yes. I was born and raised outside Detroit, Michigan, and grew up there, went to school, and then I went backpacking through Europe for a little while, and then landed in New York, where I started my career in animation and voiceover and commercials and theater and some television, and then moved to Los Angeles and have been continuing to grow all those different aspects. I like eating cereal. I'm obsessed with quinoa recipes at the moment. And most people don't know that I am an excellent bowler.
You're an excellent bowler? We should go bowling sometime. Next time I'm out in LA, we should go bowling.
All right. Awesome. Sounds good to me. We were a bowling family. My brother and I used to bowl in leagues like all throughout our childhood. He actually still continued. He continued bowling, and now he has like 7 300 games or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, he's like his average is like 225 or something stupid. Stupid high.
Mine's nowhere near there.
Yeah,
it's nowhere near there.
So,
I thought I was the greatest bowler of all time. Then somebody told me I actually have to put it down the lane instead of hitting the person next to me with the ball.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually called assault.
Yeah.
People, honestly, bowling alleys really look down on you pelting other customers with the bowling ball.
Yeah. Well, he gets restraining orders all the time, so assault doesn't seem to be out of his price range.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think that part of it is like just the cleaning up the blood, because the oil on the lane really affects like how the lane is gonna like throw, and the blood gets on there and it just really throws off that whole balance.
The guy who has to clean that. Oh,
I know.
The oil and
he doesn't. Nobody gets paid enough to clean up the blood from your assaults.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I'm a horrible bowler, and I don't think. I think the nearest bowling alley to me won't let me come back because I spent too much of the time quoting The Big Lebowski.
I'm sure you're the only person to ever do that. Well, I'm sure they don't get that all the time.
Well, I guess, I don't know, maybe I was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
The camel's back.
I guess too many times of me trying to put on my best John Turturro and go, "That's right, man. You don't mess with the Jesus."
The bowling ball that broke the camel's back. I think the camel deserved it because he kept on walking and said, "What day is it today?"
No.
On a Wednesday.
No, Christian.
Camel deserved it.
Family show. Family show.
No doing that commercial, please. No.
We're totally going off track here. Ed, why don't you rein us back in?
Okay. All right.
Oh, we're so off track. Ed to rein us back in. We're in trouble.
Ed's the one who reins in because he's the I don't know, what do you call his character? What character are you, Ed?
I guess I'm I'm the I don't know either, but I gotta say though, if you're gonna between Christian and I, if you need to pick someone to rein it back in, choose me.
Yeah. So that's why I picked you in. Go ahead.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Looking online, looking at your profiles, and looking at your work.
Yes, stalking me online has led you to have a question.
I let them stalk you.
It's not you. I'm not the one who created your Wikipedia profile and put the stuff on IMDb.
You are.
It's there. I didn't, But yeah, looking at Wikipedia, looking at IMDb, you have a lot of voice actor credits, especially a lot of anime. Now, here's the question: are you an anime fan, or was that just the work that kept coming?
It's interesting. I actually didn't know really anything about anime when I first started. The first audition I had was for Berserk, and I met Michael Cinder-Nicholas, who is at NYV Post, and he was directing that because I was doing a theater show at the time.
Right.
And someone was like, "Oh, there's this guy. He's auditioning this cartoon." I was like, "I like cartoons," and I went in, and he was telling me about it and what it was, and I was like, "Wow, this is not like American cartoons." And I was lucky enough to have booked that job and started working right away. And once you start to work and you have the skill of dubbing, then it's easier to get other dub jobs because you have to be able to sort of there's like a technical skill that in conjunction with the acting skill that
right.
So once you start working in it, it's easier to then get more work in it. I really enjoy anime in the sense that I like the comedy of it. I love all the like sexual undertones that are constant happening. But I also really like the ideas inside of it. They have these really big ideas about kind of like what it is to be a human, what it is to be a person, why we're here, the universe, like how energy works, like, and so I've really enjoyed the stuff that I've seen. I definitely have not, aside from the stuff I specifically am exposed to in terms of like auditioning for or being in or having friends in.
Right.
I'm not an avid watcher. It's hard to, because for me, I am working in, commercials and voiceover and animation and television and film and web stuff. You just can't keep up with everything. So it's, even with television, I have like 3 or 4 shows that I watch. Right. And then I've seen episodes of other things just so I know what's out there. But, what I have the time to actually follow. And I also do a lot of theater. So I'm in rehearsals a lot of evenings and performances. So I don't really have a lot of just free time on my hands that ends up being like, let me sit down and watch. Though I am currently getting my way through a particular series that I'm enjoying.
Ooh, what are you trying to get through right now?
I can't say.
One of those.
Maybe you'll find out in a couple months.
Okay.
Ooh.
Intrigue.
But,
Intrigue, suspense.
But keeping on the anime track for a second. Of the stuff you've done, what's like your favorite?
Oh my gosh. I would say, oh gosh, wow. Okay, so on the sort of like war side, I would say that definitely Berserk and Slayers were sort of 2 of the most fun projects that I worked on. And then on kind of the fun side, probably Goku-sen and Tamagotchi.
How about Oh My Goddess?
Oh my God! I loved working on that one. I actually helped produce that one as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I was working at one point. I started working for NYAV, and so I started producing a lot of their stuff. And working on Oh My Goddess was incredible. And then our second season, we were coordinating with Texas, and they were wonderful. And that series is just so beautiful. And Eileen Stevens was such a joy to find for Val.
I have a question now. You said you were a producer for that. How close are the translations to the original Japanese?
It's interesting. They always try. Every company that I've ever worked with and even recorded for, when you're recording, you almost always can see what the original Japanese was, and so you can kind of see, and they really do stay as close as they can, while also making it make sense. Well, first of all, you have to like fit the flap, of course, but in order to make it make sense and make it in a way that's consumable for an English-speaking audience, so that we can understand. But they are really, a lot of the companies that do them are very specific about wanting to keep kind of the tone, the relationship, the attitude, like they don't really let you reinterpret a character as like a different kind of person in the world, and therefore the way that they speak and talk, they really try to like keep it in there. And I know a lot of the people who do the adapting, and they work very hard to kind of like run that balance of keeping the sentiment and keep making it more accessible for an American audience. Doing Mokuba for Yu-Gi-Oh! Was one of my favorites because it was actually my first lead boy, and I got to work with Eric Stewart, who is just incredible and awesome. And then I've worked with Darren Dunstan as a director, and he's awesome and incredible, and just directed something like that was Academy Award nominated. So
wow.
Oh, it's so hard. It's so funny because you ask a question like that, and when you've been doing it for so many years, it's like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh, yeah, okay. Oh right, that and that. And I honestly, it's just a joy to be in the booth anytime you get an opportunity to be in there.
Wow.
Now with stuff like, okay, you just mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh. I also saw that you've done some Pokemon. Now, did you ever get any merchandise related to that? Like when you did Yu-Gi-Oh, did they ever give you like one of the cards or something? Or
no, because I never got any swag, I don't think. But I'm not a huge swag person. I don't really like a lot of objects and things. I lived in New York for so long that and you live in such a small place, and you just can't afford to have clutter. So when I actually moved from New York and I moved 8 times in New York. So, and when you're moving a lot, you shed things easily because you're like, this is not worth moving, So I actually tend to not really have a lot of like swag or souvenirs from the shows, the characters I've done. In fact, most of the stuff that I do own actually has come from fans. Wow. When I've gone to anime convention or something, a fan has gifted me something, whether it's like a drawing or a little character or something like that. And so when the fans have given me stuff, I've taken those things and I keep those things. But when I go to record things, I don't, except for I think one time I was at a recording place in New York and I loved their notepads. They had these awesome notepads that were like this like yellow. I don't know why. I just loved the design of their notepads. And I was like, can I have a notepad? She was like, yeah, she opened the class. I was like, oh my God. She's like, take 2. And she gave me 2 notepads.
Nice.
But it was for the company itself, not even the project I was working on. So
Nice.
That was the time I got any like swag.
Nice.
Very practical.
Getting back to the getting away from the animated track and getting back to live action and into sci-fi. I see that you guest starred on an episode of Fringe.
Yes.
Now, I got to say something about Fringe, and I'm going to say what I said might get you angry at me. Your character's name.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hide behind a wall.
You can hide behind a wall.
Go ahead. I'm gonna be hiding behind a wall. Just let me know when I can come out.
Now, Carrie, here's a bowling ball if you need it.
Yeah, I was looking on your wiki page, and it says you play Kate Harper on an episode of Fringe from the season 1. But you see, I went to IMDb, and they call you Heavy-Set Woman. That's what your character's name was in the credits. Heavy-Set Woman. What the heck is that?
What's interesting is when IMDb is sort of a funny thing that like when there's a mistake on there, it's very hard to correct it. And actually, the first time that credit went up, I was listed as like nurse number 3 or something, and I was like, "What? I didn't play a nurse." The reason that she was called that, and the reason that I auditioned for it was because in that particular episode, the character, the villain, quote unquote, was called the Artist, and his thing is that he would find people. And then he would kill them and transform them and then leave them out like in a designed area, you know? And so he would take someone with tattoos and then he would, like a real rocker chick with tattoos, and then he would kill her and take off all the tattoos and make her look really like cute and innocent and pretty and put her like in a field of flowers or whatever. Right. And so for me, he, the idea was that he's taken a heavy-set woman, i.e. fat, and he kills her, makes her thin and gives her like a boob job and makes her into this like very sexy, pretty, and then leaves her tied onto a wrought iron fence in front of a church surrounded by candles.
Yeah. For those who don't know, that this was the episode Inner Child back in 2009. I liked this episode. It was a good episode.
I didn't know that was the name of the character when I went in to audition for it. I actually don't know I'm not sure if I knew anything about that when I auditioned for it. I might not have found out about it until later. Wow. Because it didn't matter anything to the scene of the actual audition. It didn't matter. You just knew you were walking a dog and you knew you were going to get killed. But it was actually really, really fun to shoot because it was so cold. It was New York. It was February. It was really, really cold. Everything was outside. But I had this fat suit on, right? This really this nice thick fat suit and like jogging pants and then a sweater over the fat suit and then like a light jacket over that with little gloves. And all day long, people kept trying to offer me another jacket because they see I'm wearing this very thin jacket.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'm good. I think I'm good. I finally, like, in the middle of a bunch of them, I was like, guys, I got plenty of padding over here. And they all looked at me really weird. And it occurs to me, they've never met me before, and they think I'm making a fat joke.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, and I go, oh, no. I go, no, I mean, I really got some padding over here. And I lifted the sweater to reveal this, like, this cloth fat suit that I'm wearing. And everyone, like, they, like, jumped back. And they're like, oh, and then everyone's trying to be cool about the fact that they did, like, you could see everyone's face, like, processing the new information. Yeah. And then and when I first showed up on set, because she's called Heavyset Woman, right. I'm walking and I'm trying to find, they're like, okay, the PA's coming down the block. And so I'm walking and there's only one girl. She's got a headset. She's got a clipboard. She looks exactly like what you would expect. And she walks up and I'm like, hi. And she says, hi, and walks past me. Because she was looking for a heavyset woman. Right. And I'm a size 2.
Well, you had to be a size 2 for the finished work of art.
Exactly. That was the part. But even that, I had to do, I think, 3 costume fittings to find the dress because I don't really have boobs. And so they had to but she had to look like she had, a boob job. Yeah. And so they were trying all these different dresses. I had, I think, 4 chicken cutlets and that particular dress just to make it look like I had cleavage. Like, it was 3 fittings just to try and get me cleavage.
Oh. Were they breaded?
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
No, they're not. That's what they're called, chicken cutlets. Oh. They're awesome. They're excellent. And I feel like every woman should have a pair for when she feels like she wants to be a little perkier, But there was 4. There's like 2. There was like they were underneath and they were to the side, and then the dress was like pushed. It was so the part where I'm dead and I don't have to do anything was actually a lot more effort than the part when I was alive.
I can feel you on that one. I had to play. I did a student film where I had to play a dead body, and I had to hold my breath for like a close up, and they shot that 4 times.
Yeah, it's interesting It's interesting playing dead, right? There was a moment because when we first got out there, of course, they have to do the different setups: the wide, the medium, the close, all that kind of stuff. And I was shooting. My scene was dead last, bump. And so it's freezing. So it's 2:00 in the morning in the middle of February. It's freezing. But of course they want to shoot out their, their principals because they've been there all day. And the director came up to me and said, hey, how do you feel if we shoot this wide and we can get Kirk Aceveda out? And I was like, I feel okay. He's like, do you think you'll be okay? You won't have goosebumps because a dead body doesn't have goosebumps.
Oh, they have to be stickler that much? Okay.
Well, because they were going to do close-ups. Yeah, they had to do some close-ups of the cut mark of my injuries, and but he didn't want there to be goosebumps. And I was like, honestly, I can't. I don't even know how to answer that question.
How can you control that? How can I control that?
Have goosebumps in like 20 minutes, And so he was like, well,
it's cold
do you feel a lot colder now than when we started? And I said, I feel about the same as when we started. And so that gave him so he was able to extrapolate time. And between takes, they were wheeling in a heater and throwing on blankets and stuff. which was totally fine. They gave me all these heat pads to put in my dress, but I didn't know that, so I didn't put them in there.
Oh.
But it actually was it was too fun. But there was only one shot. There was one shot that right before I played dead, I looked over and I caught Kurt's eye. And then I was like, okay, and then we'll go to play dead. And I played dead. And then that was the one take that he messed up. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, no, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. But because before, when he wasn't really processing that I was there and that this whole thing was happening and I was freezing, it was fine. But as soon as he became aware of me and the fact that I was freezing over in the corner, he it totally messed him up on his take. And I was like, don't worry about it. I'm totally fine. I was like, seriously. I'm like, I'm fine. Everyone was amazed at how excited I was to be there. I was having so much fun I had these cuts on my boobs. It was so much fun to be in that scene and everything they did with all the makeup and stuff. So I was super excited. And when we finished, everyone started to descend on me. They were like, they're like, okay, get her on. I was like, wait, picture. Everyone stopped and they stepped
day at
back.
work.
Okay. And then since I already stopped it, then of course art departments taking pictures, everyone's taking their pictures for their departments because they're like, well, I guess she wanted to stay tied up to that fence for a little while longer.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, I think my dead thing, I had Joker makeup all over my face, and they gave me a cut. They gave me a cut across the neck, and then I sacrificed a T-shirt, and they bloodied that up. So I'm tied to a chair, and I got bloody quote unquote shirt stuck to my chest, and then I had to take a picture with this guy who got shot earlier in the film. So I think by the time I changed clothes, I had to peel the shirt off, literally.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And just I forgot what I had to use, but I had to use water, sponges, and a couple of other chemicals to get rid of the leftover quote unquote blood. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I find special effects makeup so fascinating, and it's interesting. I just did a commercial recently, and the woman who did makeup for the commercial, she also specializes in special effects makeup, and she was showing me all these awesome things that she did, and it's so cool to see people who are amazing at something that you don't have any capacity for at all. I'm like, I don't know how to make it look like you're a dead person who got shot or cut up or lost an arm or whatever, and yet they make these things, and they're so realistic and creepy and weird and awesome that it was just fascinating. And to be able to be inside that process and see them working and see it kind of unfold and then to have it be you is just even cooler,
Okay, on this note, we're going to take a short break. We come back, we'll have more with Carrie and, of course, Ed, Trish, Christian, and myself, Mark, here on Mark Who 42's Hooniverse. We'll be right back.
I'll never be able to go down a grocery store aisle of the frozen food section of the chicken and then think about that time that I spoke to Carrie.
Yeah, no, I think...
You've never heard the term chicken cutlets before?
I have.
No.
And we'll be right back.
The voice of Christian-Basel, take one.
Hi, I'm Christian-Basel, and I would like to provide my voice for all your voiceover needs, such as...
Okay, like an announcer.
Like a what?
Like an announcer.
For all your voiceover needs, such as animation, radio, announcements, introductions...
Now an old man.
I can even record voicemail for all the Meshuggahs that call you.
A pirate.
Arr, and it won't cost you a lot of treasure for me services. Arr.
Creepy movie voice.
Just call 407-761-2679. 407-761-2679. Or email voiceofchristian-basel@yahoo.com. Well, how was that?
That's a wrap.
Ah, brave new world that has such putzes in it.
The Pull Bag is GCRN's comic book review and discussion-based podcast. Join me, your host, TFG and Mike, and the rest of the GCRN crew as we make our way through the comics we are reading. Inside the Pull Bag, you'll also find back-issue classics and origins episodes of how we got into comic reading. You can find the Pull Bag every Wednesday on iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com. Make your great escape into comics and jump into the Pull Bag today.
Oh yes, but think of the fun.
Hello, my name's Fraser Hines, also known as Jamie McCrimmon. You're listening to Mark Who 42's podcast.
And we're back with more of Mark Who 42's Whoniverse, Doctor Who Whoniverse, that is. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me are still Trish, Ed, Christian, and carrie-keranen? Did I get it right this time? Keranen?
Keranen?
I am not going to get you. I'm just Piper.
Listen, you can call me Piper. B, honestly, my whole life with a name like Keranen, it's Finnish. And with a name like Keranen, and it's Kelly, Kevin, and Carrie, Keranen, me and my brother, my sister.
Wow.
And so I was Kara Lee half my life. It's not a problem.
No one ever got my last name right either. Baumgarten. Everyone Baumgartner, Baumgarten. No one ever got it right. So
I'm super used to it and not attached to it at all. In fact, I was so excited. My high school graduation, the woman announcing at my high school graduation, my mom was a teacher at another school, and this woman knew my mom and knew my family, knew my older sister who's like 10 years older than me. Right. And I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is going to be the first time someone says my name right. I'm so excited. I'm sorry, it wasn't a graduation. I was receiving a science scholarship. Right. And I was like, so excited. And she called me by my sister's name.
Oh, wow.
She was like, and Kelly-keranen. And I was like, oh my gosh. Finally someone who's going to say Keranen right. Anyway, so not a problem. I'm not offended at all. It happens all the time.
Well, I think Christian and Patricia are the only ones who don't have any last name problems.
Oh, I do. It's Basel. Basel.
Oh. Okay, so Patricia's the only one who doesn't have any last name problems.
Yet.
Hey, everyone's having a type fest. We're having a type fest here at Mark Who 42. You can hear that noise coming straight through. We're chatting with each other while talking. Trish, do you have a question?
I'm not chatting at all. I haven't touched my keyboard. I haven't touched my keyboard. You got someone else typed.
Folks, you don't want to know what we're laughing at. Trish, do you have a question? Trish, you've been quiet. Say something, Trish.
I have been quiet. Okay. We just want to know, are you a fan of Doctor Who?
Okay, great question. I'm aware of Doctor Who. I have only really seen a handful of episodes, and the ones that I saw I really liked, but I do not watch it regularly, so I don't know that much about the universe, the world. But I feel like I know more than I should just by osmosis of being around so many people that are Who fans. Like my one of my exes, he was a huge Doctor Who fan, and he was actually the one who finally sat me down and like showed me. And so with him, I think I watched like the first 7 episodes of the reboot.
Reboot with Christopher Eccleston. Cool.
So he's like, don't worry, the special effects get better as the years go. And I was like, oh, okay. But so I sort of started at the very, very beginning, and it was something that we were doing and sort of watching, but then we broke up, and
that was that.
And that was that. So I have sort of a working understanding of what the phenomena is, but I think that I also know most of the doctors from their other work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like seeing them in a movie and being like, oh, he's awesome. Like, oh, he was the 3rd Doctor or the something. So I'm like, oh, and actually, to be honest, I know a little, so little about who all the players are in the world that I actually met Neil Gaiman, and wow. We did at my theater company in Los Angeles. I'm a member of Sacred Fools Theater Company, and we did a production of Neverwhere.
That was excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming your version was too.
It was. I love that book. And I love American Gods. Like I've known him as a writer and a comic book writer for so long.
Sandman was amazing.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
I own 1602.
1602.
Yeah, he did a Marvel series where the characters of Marvel today were back in 1602. So it was like a period piece with the Fantastic Four and stuff, and he wrote that.
Interesting. Of course he did. I'm sure it was amazing.
Yeah.
He's great at reimagining realities.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I met him, and I was talking to him, and a friend of mine standing next to me was like, oh, do you know about Inspector Spacetime? She plays Piper Tate. And I'm thinking to myself, why is he bringing this up to, like, why would he know about this?
Right.
And then I found out later. I was like, oh, now I get it.
Was he aware of it?
Yeah, well, he was aware of it. But he was aware of it originally from on the community show, because apparently at one point, he and Karen she had approached him about writing an episode for her, or at some point they were talking about doing something with it, but then that was right when community then was maybe not going to continue happening, and like when it went on hiatus or whatever. Right. So right around all that, so when they were in talks about that, but at one point apparently he was in talks with Karen, and I guess he said that right when he finally had an idea of what he would write, it was when all that happened with Community and NBC, and so then it just sort of never happened.
Darn. So were you a fan of Community also before?
I did. I mean, I like that. I like that show. I also, because I liked. I used to watch. What was it? The Soup.
The Soup. Oh, yeah, The Soup.
Yeah. So I knew I had seen. I actually I was watching The Soup more regularly, and then saw an episode of Community, and I was like, "Hey, that's that guy from The Soup.
He works a lot. This guy has a lot of work.
That's crazy. I know that guy from the other show." And So then I realized, oh, that's why he left The Soup, was to go do that show. I was like, oh, okay, and this all makes sense to me now. But yeah, I love that show. I love the writing. I love the acting. I love the tone of the show. It's hysterical.
Now, Travis told us that you might be coming back in some way, some form, somehow in the new motion picture that they're doing, the Companion Chronicle. Can you say anything?
I can say with 100% integrity that I have not read the script.
Ah, okay. That
Piper Dead.
Oh, I love that little girl.
I haven't read the script past what I've shot. So I deliberately not read anything. Right. I have definitely had conversations with Eric and Travis, and mostly Eric, off the record about just, stuff and ideas, and wouldn't it be funny ifs and things like that.
There could be an evil you. There could be an evil
and also, we were talking actually about he wanted to do a comic book about about how the inspector and Piper originally met. So a lot of stuff we talked about were things that were like, oh, who was she before she came here? Like, what were their first adventures like that kind of stuff. So we, but I haven't read the script. So even the people that they're announcing, I'm like, I don't know what characters are playing. I'm deliberately keeping myself in the dark.
Okay. All right. Loose lips sink shit.
Right. I was like, then I don't know anything, so I can't say anything.
Yeah. Well, here's a good way to bring her back. If the inspector has a regeneration scene, they could do a la Caves of Androzani.
No.
They could do a la Caves of Androzani with a spectral image of Piper going, "Don't die, Inspector."
What I love the most, actually, is hearing everyone's theories. What I love about not knowing the answer is to hear everyone's theories about what they think and how she would come back, how she could come back. Is she dead? Is she not dead? What happened to her? Someone was like, I think she's pregnant with his baby. And I was like, what?
Oh, God.
Where did you get that from? Where did that come from?
Oh, those typical Doctor fans that are always trying to get the Doctor and the Companion together. I guess they spill over into the Spectre as well.
No.
Well, you do. You see, I mean, we see this. We see people like partnerships, then we go like, oh, wouldn't it be great if they got together? Wouldn't it be great if this happened? And but I think part of what is so wonderful about the relationships between the various inspectors and their companions, and also the inspector and Piper, is the love and loyalty and admiration and support and respect that they have for each other and they give to each other without it being a romantic relationship. It's not about them being in love, but
exactly. And that's
but clearly they're expressing like, love and companionship. And I think that ultimately what's so wonderful about these relationships is it is really showing us like our greatest potentiality as human beings. Why should we save all that love, loyalty, compassion, support for, only the people that I'm currently in a relationship with, or that are my family. Like, why couldn't we behave that way towards humankind, towards each other?
Peace and love.
But it is a cozy booth.
It's much bigger on the inside.
Exactly. Oh my.
And just so for the record, because we asked Travis this, we're going to ask you this: is it flee or fled, or flowed, or flew, or how's it work? How's it work? What are you supposed to do every time there's trouble? Flee or
something on a
Fly.
dog? Flee.
Fly.
Fly like the wind.
Fly like the wind.
Run, Forrest, run.
And break the wind.
Yeah.
No.
Not gonna happen.
Look, that was one of my favorite scenes. When I read it, that was what made me fall in love with the entire Inspector Spacetime web series, was that whole scene. Flown, fled, flee. It was just too funny. I like language and I like words, so that was hysterical. Yeah. Yes. But there's a lot. Wow, there's a lot of running, and especially with Nick directing, he really amped up the whole action, adventure, sci-fi, made it a lot like darker and stuff, and that meant a lot more running, a lot more, physicality, and a lot more locations. We did a lot more running because we had to do it through a lot more locations, because he's such a visual director, and he knew how he wanted things to cut together, and how much space he wanted us to cover from one place to another place. And I just think it's so funny that you arrive in your TARDIS or TARDIS-like booth,
right?
And you go into a play, and you very quickly encounter your adventure, and yet when you're trying to get back to it, it's so much further away.
Oh yeah.
You're like, really? How did this get so much further away than when we started? But yeah, so that was also the super, super fun times. And I thought it was really fun for me and Eric, especially because, Travis is he's responsible for a lot more of the aspects of the production in general, especially the first season, the first 5 episodes. He, and Eric and I were like kids, like literally be like, cut, and be like, and like Eric and I would be like off in the corner, like playing with the props. Like, you saw the behind the scenes where I was like rolling around on the wheelchair with the optic pocket knife, like, and then they'd be like, guys, places. We're like, okay, great. And then action, we're totally on, and then cut, like, blah, 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 blah. The first, I was like playing with that. There was like a stuffed lion in our first setup that I was like carrying around the set with me, and Travis was like, can you get out of here with the lion? Like, it was, and you just couldn't help but like want to like futz with everything all the time, and we were always like goofing off, and it was like Travis had like 2 children on set with him. The poor guy.
It sounds like fun though.
It was super fun. It was really, really fun. And what was interesting to me was I always knew like the prequel episode was always part of the original script.
Was it really?
So, yes. When I auditioned for it, I always knew that Piper would become mortally wounded at the end. I don't want to say the D word. So I always knew that going in, because the way that Travis and Eric had really originally conceived it was, there can only be one companion, so we're going to start off with this person, because they wrote the series for themselves.
Right.
And so, we have one companion, and then we're going to get this good boyish, and then the good boyish is going to be the new companion. There's not enough room for 3 boys. But as Trish can attest to, you always need your token lady, right?
Exactly.
And
need some estrogen in there.
The estrogen.
But because there was... I know, right? Get some estrogen in there. I gotta get some people thinking from a different point of view. But what was interesting was to have the first 5 episodes come out and have the fans respond so well to Piper. And then when the prequel episode came out,
oh yeah,
and she passed and she became mortally wounded. People were, very, very, like, really upset about Piper. And then people keep asking, is she going to come back? This question about Piper has really taken on more of a life than they originally expected. And so I think that's why there's now, like, all these questions about, like, well, are you going to bring her back? Are you going to leave her? What are you doing? What's going on? And I think that from what I do know that's in store for the motion picture, I think it's going to be it's going to be its own incredible, really awesome, really interesting and fun adventure. That I think people are really going to like, and I think it's their ideas that they're tossing around are really smart and very fan friendly, and so I think it's going to be a great little adventure. And then whatever happens after that, in any universe, anything's possible.
That's true.
I think in the alternate universe, Piper will be laying on the ground, all cut up with cutlets in her shirt and walking around in a fat outfit. Oh, it'll be beautiful.
And in another alternate universe, she owns like a chicken empire.
There you go.
Piper's chicken. Hey.
Piper's chicken.
Actually, you know what? That Piper's chicken cutlets. I think we got something here.
I think we got something here. I think
we'll have to make a recipe for that. We'll come up with a recipe.
Yes,
we'll post it on the Facebook page.
And hey, you know what? And hey, you don't have to look. You don't have to say the D word as far as Piper's concerned. You can take a page from the anime Dragon Ball Z when it was first brought to American shores. You don't have to say the D word. Just say they're in another dimension.
That's a D word, dimension. That's a D word too.
But that's different.
Yeah, no, I don't like any D words.
D words are no good. D words.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, when they're in another dimension, that's a different D word. That's a D word.
Another D word. We don't like D words.
I'm not saying any D words.
Okay.
No D words.
No, you don't do D words.
I don't do D
words.
You don't do D words unless it's donut.
Donuts. Okay.
That I will do. But it's so funny. We talk about like, alternate universe, different dimension, what happened, and it's amazing to see the imaginations of the fans. Like even us joking about like, in another world she'd be this, she'd be that, and it's kind of incredible to see the everyone's creativity and how some of the stuff has been brought into the show or the sort of world, and that's just all from fans like being excited about this weird little thing that we shot in Los Angeles over a weekend. You know what I mean? That's always so exciting.
I'm just thinking about this alternate reality branding now that we've got Piper's cutlets, Good Boyish breakfast meal, and the inspector's tarts or whatever you want to have.
The inspector's tarts.
Oh, yeah.
That could be taken poorly.
Christian, that's what Christian does. That's his part on the show.
Yeah.
His part is to do stuff like that.
Hey, if I'm going to have a part on this show, I'm going to make it a good one, man.
And it is.
Jeez.
Where are we?
Do we?
Where what are we talking about? Who are we? Why are we here?
This is so far off the rails. I don't even think we can find the tracks. I don't think we can find the tracks.
I feel like it's been an hour, and you've only asked like 3 questions.
That's how it should run. That's how a good show runs, actually.
That's how a good show runs.
3 questions, we're done. We're good.
Okay, well, here's
anything said.
All right, here's number 4.
Question 4.
All right, here's number 4. Here's number 4. So we can break the record. 4 questions in an hour.
Woo!
So thanks to.
This better be an awesome question.
It better be an awesome question, because if it's not, I'm just gonna have to fire you.
You're gonna what? You're gonna what?
Fire you.
You're gonna what? You're gonna
fire
what?
you.
Okay, Carrie. Shag, marry, or Cliff?
Okay, Ed.
Unfortunately, there's 4 of us, so I have to come up with a new category.
Yeah. Ed, go ahead.
Someone's gonna go home. Someone's gonna go home. Go home. Stag. Anyway, but no, seriously. Okay, so you mentioned earlier about you saw a little bit of Doctor Who, and of course you work on Inspector Spacetime.
Mm-hmm.
But are you familiar with other Doctor Who parodies, homages, things like that?
Well, I know about the Dr. Stu, the animated one, because we did a crossover with them.
Ding, 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 ding.
She wins something?
I know. I was like, what? Are there prizes?
She wins the to get to talk to Christian.
Carrie, well, Trish, tell them what you won. Well, Carrie, you win a bag of cutlets. Fresh chicken right out of Kentucky.
Just to be clear, I wasn't wearing chicken in my bra. It's just what they called boob-enhancing devices because they look like chicken cutlets. But there was no actual chickens were harmed in the making of Fringe.
So go on about Dr. Stu.
Well, I remember I didn't know that much about it when we were shooting. Travis was like, we have to shoot this thing for the something, and I wrote this thing, and I was like, okay, but I only knew the live action part of it, that part, and then it's been like, I don't know, a year or something until it finally came out and I saw it, and it is so funny. And what's interesting is that I don't actually know that much about Doctor Who specifically. However, I still have watched a lot of like sci-fi and action adventure kind of movies. And what I really loved about the Dr. Stu was the writing was just so smart. So even if I didn't know something specifically related to Doctor Who, you can kind of get the sort of tropes that he's making fun of, or sort of these inside jokes. And it's because it's always funny when you look at these kinds of movies, either sci-fi or like action adventure or whatever, James Bond even. It's, you know, the villain always like, well, let me stand here and tell you everything I was thinking and why I did all this so you can understand my motivations before I kill you, which is, of course, going to give you enough time to then plan your escape and get away from me and then have all the information you need to defeat me. Yep. Or the flip side, which is, oh, my gosh, someone's destroying New York. I can see buildings 4 blocks away falling down and 3 blocks away falling down and 2 blocks away falling down. And yet I haven't, like, run away yet. You know, but in real life, you would have just like turned and run immediately, you know? So there's a lot of, even though I probably missed certain specific jokes, the overall like tone of the piece of that was hysterical. Really good writing. I love the voice acting. It looked great. It was super cute. Like, I loved it.
Well, Carrie, I want to thank you very much for appearing on our podcast.
Appearing.
I know it's not really appearing. It's you were heard on our podcast. Yeah, I always say we'll see you next time, but they're not going to see us because
I know. What do you say when? So if it wasn't appearing, what is it? And if you're not going to see us next time,
you know, how about
I always change it to you'll listen to us next time on. I mean, because that's all they can do. They can listen to us.
You'll hear from us again.
That's good. I like that. You'll hear from us again on our next episode. That's good, Carrie. I like that.
So what's another word for appearing that isn't?
Or how about this? Let's keep it simple. How about just thank you for being on the podcast?
Yes, Carrie.
There you go. Let's just use being.
Let's use being. I like being.
Yeah. I'm a human.
There you go.
I'm a human being. I like beings.
I like beans too. Beans, good for the heart, great for the heart.
No.
No, you took out 6 city blocks after that little incident.
See what I have to deal with every week?
Carrie-Keranen, thank you for showing up on our show. Or, showing. I'm saying showing again. Thank you for
being on the show.
Carrie-Keranen. All right, thank you for being.
Thank you, Carrie, for letting us stalk you this afternoon.
Yeah, it's been a treat.
What's this us, Christian? That's all you.
Yeah.
Well, we're seeing her apparently, so I guess we're got to be right out outside her door.
I would have done my hair or something.
Remember, folks, go to our Facebook page, Mark Who 42's Whoniverse. Tweet us at Mark Who 42. Comment to us at FloridaGeekScene.com and GeekCastRadio.com. Thanks for voting for us for Best Partner Podcast. We won that, didn't we, folks? Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yeah.
We have proven our superiority.
Yes, Spain, we have.
I think what's on Joe Mind thinks we cheated somehow.
They think we cheated. You know what? What's on Joe Mind? What's on Joe Mama? I don't know.
I know those guys. I go to message boards on Facebook where those guys post. Thanks a lot.
But wait a minute, they think we're cheated. They think
thank
we're cheated.
you. Well, thank you, Mark.
No, they're not nice people. They were mean to us. They're mean to the.
I thought it was the Geekcast Radio podcast that was mean to us, not the Joe.
Oh, okay. Then you know what? Joe Mama, I'm sorry, Joe Mind. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Joe. What's on Joe Mind?
I have absolutely no idea what's happening
Gary,
right now.
Mike, Chuck.
Carrie, let me bring you up to speed. We won an award section for we are part of a
we're syndicated on the Geekcast Radio
Network, and we won an award for best partnered podcast. Is that how they pronounce it?
Best partner podcast.
We won by apparently a huge landslide, like almost double the second place. We got like 83 votes. The next guy in line got like 33. And I think our awards representative kind of like, we now have a, what was it? The the Hooniverse Army.
Was it Hooniverse or Hoovie?
The Hooniverse Army.
It was the Hooniverse Army.
So apparently, and it was the biggest landslide against any of their, I think, 30 categories that they had. They had some big number, but we are proud to be the Hooniverse Army.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful when you take on sci-fi.
That's right. That's right.
Gotta be careful.
We now have our own army. We have followers.
Oh my God.
Yes, Bean, we do. See, we were going to get sued by DC Comics.
We're so sorry, Uncle Albert.
And Paul McCartney. So that's our show for today. We hope for you to hear us again next time. Thanks once again to Carrie. And any last words from our gang?
Carrie what? Thanks to Carrie what? What's her last name?
Keranen.
Correct, Karen. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Carrie. I'm taking
Colonel.
the fifth. I'm taking the fifth.
Colostomy.
Thank you, Piper Tate.
Corn on the cob.
Thank you, Piper Tate.
You're very welcome.
Okay. That's our show.
Yeah, and that's the last time Carrie's ever coming back over here.
No, she's not married to her last name. She's fine with it.
She's not committed to us either.
She's gone. Oh, she's gone. But thank you, Carrie, for showing up for being on our show.
Okay, great. It's been a pleasure, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you. Bye.
I'll be in the corner playing with my cutlets now.
Oh yeah, Christian's Corner back next time.
Weird. Okay, that got weird. Everything just got real weird.
It does get weird. It does get weird with Christian.
Yeah.
Okay. So until next time, arrivederci or some other word, maybe Alonzi.
Sayonara.
Sayonara. What else can we say?
Another 3 countries listening to our podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios. Hasta luego. Hasta mañana.
We just keep this running and we play music over it. We never stop. We're just on 24/7. We're trying to end the show. We can never end the show.
You have the button. All you have to do is just hit.
Marku 42's Hooniverse has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Trish-helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel. And special thanks to carrie-keranen for being on our show today. Piper Tate herself from the-inspector-chronicles. This show is edited, produced, and directed by Mark Baumgarten. Please remember to rate us and listen to us on iTunes and the Stitcher Radio app. And comment on our broadcast at geekcastradio.com, floridageekscene.com, and worldofwho.com. Tweet us at markwho42 and check out our Facebook page, Marku42's Hooniverse.
Marku42 Hooniverse.
We can be contacted by email at mark@markwho42.com with the subject line ?. Doctor Who and his properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. This podcast is streaming from markwho42.com. This podcast is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten, 2014.